What is up, Fitty Gang, and welcome back. We got another crazy fishing cheater video for you guys. This story has it all. Cheating, cover-ups, conspiracy theories. This is absolutely insane. You guys are going to want to stay tuned. This one has been requested a bunch of times. I've been trying to find all the information, and there is just so much out there, and there's so much crazy stuff surrounding this guy that I just wanted to make sure I sifted through all of it and tried to get all the facts. This story is absolutely insane. The process that this cheater went through to cheat is so freaking elaborate that it's unbelievable. So this happened back in, I believe, 2003. I don't think the details of this came out until 2004. And this is just absolutely unfreaking real. This guy named Tony Christian, and I've seen a lot of guys commenting on all my videos asking me to do one on Tony Christian, and I've been wanting to for a while, but I've just had to sift through so much information because honestly, it's like there's kind of some stuff that contradicts itself, and this is just such a freaking crazy story that it's almost completely unbelievable. So this guy, Tony Christian, he was a roofer. He did own his own roofing company, and then out of nowhere, he joined the FLW Pro Trail and just started freaking dominating. He won like his first 3 or 4 tournaments, which is like unheard of at the pro level. He placed top 10 in his first 30 freaking FLW tournaments. That is crazy. Anytime you get a top 10 finish, that's really freaking good. And this guy did it his first 30 tournaments at the pro level. Nobody could understand how this guy was winning. Like they could not understand how he was continually winning. And what was crazy is like people were starting to suspect that he was cheating, but like people were watching him and they were watching him catch these big bass, and he always had these huge bags and he always delivered. And like, first 30 freaking tournaments he was in the top 10. He's fishing against the best in the world. Large field of anglers of the best in the world, and he was finishing top 10 every single time right out of the gates as he starts his career as an FLW pro. Unheard of. But yeah, everybody was, they're starting to keep an eye on him and starting to figure out how the heck he was doing this, and they noticed something that was kind of weird. Is like he just loved to fish docks. He was always fishing docks. He was pulling huge fish out of these docks. Like every fish that he caught from a dock was just a giant. I got some information on how he was cheating and stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that apparently was not made public. So there's a lot of speculation around this guy, but one of the things that actually was made public was the fact that he had a scuba diver, I believe, brother. I'm seeing some articles are saying it was a friend, others are saying it was his brother, but he had a friend or brother who was a scuba diver who would actually go to the lakes before he was about to fish and go to specific docks with a huge bag of giant bass, and he would put them in 60-gallon drums that were under the docks. Think about this, guys. You had some guy in scuba gear going in there like a freaking Navy SEAL, basically, and putting these giant fish into these drums for him. And the way they did it is apparently they had like an X cut into the top of them. So these fish would like not know that they could swim out of it, basically. Just kind of like a basic fish trap. They'd put these fish in there and they would starve them. They wouldn't feed them for like a week. And then freaking Tony Christian would pull up to the dock where he knew these drums were, and they would put like 5 or 6 fish in each drum. Fish haven't eaten in a week. He would flip his jig into the drum, which only he knew it was there. I'm sure he'd feel it when it would drop in. And one of the fish would end up grabbing it because they were so hungry because they haven't eaten in a week. And he would ultimately pull the bass out and fight the fish to the boat. So everybody watching him thought this was legit and just thought it was incredible that he could pull up to these docks like this and catch these freaking monsters. Nobody understood what the heck was going on. So like he would be flipping this thing around, like he would know like pretty much where these drums were anchored. It looked like he was just flipping the dock repeatedly until he'd finally find it. He'd feel it go in, and then almost always one of those bass would hit because they were so freaking hungry. Unreal, guys. He did it with co-anglers in the boat. He'd have co-anglers in the boat and they never knew what the heck was going on, because it just looked like he was casting under a freaking dock and catching hogs. They were probably so freaking confused, man. What's crazy is this guy, he basically got away with this too, and I'll get into that. But ultimately, somebody released a video of the diver going in and putting the fish in. And that is how he was ultimately disqualified from one of the FLW tournaments, is because there was this video kind of making the rounds. But here's where this story gets even crazier. It was so elaborate that a lot of people didn't even believe it. They thought it was like some publicity stunt. And then FLW didn't want the bad publicity, and they were also worried of being sued by the other anglers. So they basically just brushed this under the rug. They tried to like hide the fact that this was going on, and just they DQ'd Tony Christian, and they banned him from ever fishing their tournaments again, and I believe the other large trails did as well. I think Major League Fishing was around then. I'm pretty sure they did. And then Bass, BASS, they all banned him from fishing. And then no one knew what happened to him. He just like freaking disappeared. But apparently they settled this outside of court. The FLW settled this outside of court with Tony Christian because they didn't want the bad publicity, guys. This is freaking real. So he did get some lawyers involved, and they basically just argued that he wasn't breaking the rules because he was catching the fish on rod and reel. FLW, like I said, they just didn't want to deal with it. So this is an incredible story. From what I understand, nobody has heard from Tony Christian since this all happened. He's not fishing anymore. He hasn't tried to clear his name. He hasn't attempted to fish any other tournaments. So that kind of shows that he probably was guilty, because if, most people get accused of something they didn't do, they are going to try and clear the name and, try and make it right. This is wild. But what was crazy is like charges were never brought on him, never got in any kind of trouble. So like in a way, he got away with this. I wish I could find that video. I've been reading all these forums about this video. This stuff is like really hidden. This is like this. There's so many little articles about this, but they're all like on like back end forums and stuff, like on discussion boards, and it is so hard to find anything. This had all taken place between like 2000 and 2003, basically, is when he was fishing professionally. So yeah, guys, as most of you know, Major League Fishing acquired FLW, and so since this has happened, FLW no longer technically exists, but Tony Christian does still have a profile, like an angler profile on Major League Fishing. It must have been his old FLW one. And his stats are, he has 9 career wins, 15 top 10s. Total events fished were 31. Winnings were $271,198. So that's a little bit different than what the one article was saying. I don't know. I mean, you would think the FLW stuff would be, or the Major League Fishing stuff would be the most accurate. But again, they try to brush all this under the rug, so I really don't know, guys. I don't know what to believe. There's so much conflicting articles and just info on this guy. He's like a freaking ghost. I guess he was actually referred to as Angler X after all this, because that is how hush-hush that they wanted to keep this. But yeah, guys, this is a crazy freaking story. This is insane. If this guy was really flipping jigs in the barrels and catching these bass that his scuba diving brother had put in there, that is freaking incredible. That's incredible. I don't even know what to say about that. Comment below, guys. Let me know what you think about this. I know a lot of you guys are recommending this one. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I missed, because finding information on this Tony Christian guy was hard, and then just sifting through it all, because like I would find one article that contradicted the next, and there's just like a lot of craziness. Let me know if I got anything wrong. Let me know some of the other crazy stories that you've heard. There's a lot of other stories that were like never proven, and never, like, none of the information was ever released. So yeah, guys, this is pretty crazy stuff. That is all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you next time.